So this machine, it used to be a lot smaller when I had the Polaris Sportsman ATV engine in it. And I had reverse at that time, and I want to retain reverse. Now I've revised the suspension and it's gotten bigger and I'm going motorcycle powered. So how do I keep the reverse option? So that was, I've been scratching my head over that, coming up with different strategies, and I'll show you guys today what I'm going to do with that and look at different options. So this is the first transmission that I used in the machine, and I believe, if I remember right, this is from a Polaris 250 Trail Boss, and that was a little two-stroke engine. And so it has reverse, and the lever for the reverse is right there. So, and then it's got an integral brake system set up very much like a sled, and also, you know, with a centrifugal drive. So this secondary clutch, it just slides right on the shaft here, and to make that all work. And I also beefed up this case, and it is a plate TIG welded right in here. That's not factory. I put that in there because I put a 700 Sportsman engine on it, and I think it had quite a bit more torque than that little 250. So I just beefed up the case a bit and stuff. So that's how I started off. But then going to that 1300cc Busse engine, I really needed to upgrade this because I just couldn't see that this thing is going to hold out. And so I considered installing this. And this is a chain case from an 03 Yamaha RX-1 snowmobile. That's a 1000cc 4-stroke. And this chain case had the reverse gear option. I don't think they all had that. And you can see the external linkage here. And then on the back side, you can see the shift fork here to engage the reverse. So I was kind of thinking this would probably be okay, but it's kind of a big bulky setup, and I'm thinking with the mechanical clutch on that motorcycle engine I could probably still tear this all up pretty good. So this was an option, you know, and then all I would have to do, you know, I would have to mount it, and then of course I would have to convert the drive from centrifugal clutch to like sprockets, you know, and that wouldn't be too big of a deal. So another option, and also the easiest, would be to not install reverse at all. But I know in the long run I sure would not be happy with that, because I could kind of envision myself stuck up against a tree, or you go down some trail and you realize you got to back out of that, and you can't, you know. So I really didn't like that option. So I know there's one or two gearboxes out there that are a little big and bulky, and would work for this application, but they're kind of costly, and you pretty well have to build your machine around them, because the width of the final outdrive, where the CV joints are, if they don't nicely line up with the pivot points on the suspension, it messes up the axle plunge pretty bad. So I wasn't really interested in that. So another option was I could maybe mount a flywheel or a flex plate onto the final drive, like the center axle, and use a starter to turn the flywheel backwards, just to get me out of a bind. You know, I mean, you wouldn't, you know, use it long, you know, because your battery would die off pretty quick, but I mean, just to get you off of a tree or whatever. And you can turn the flywheel whichever direction you want, depending on which way you mount the starter, see? So I thought about that for a while, but decided against it. So check it out. I'm online, and this is what I found. I really like this thing, and it looks really heavy duty, and it is apparently supposed to hold a lot of power, and it's not all big and clumsy, and all it is it's just a straight through gearbox, and I understand there's a planetary gear set in there to create the reverse. So this is the shifter right here, or the lever, and so I'd like to actually, I'll probably make a video just about this gearbox yet. You know, I'd like to take it apart and see how it works, because I'm a curious kind of guy. And these splines here, that's the same as a Chevy Turbo 400. So I can actually take the yokes from drive shafts and modify the yokes to accept a bearing support, and also to accept sprockets. So, and I can also use this kind of like a jack shaft for gear reduction. You know, if I had a big sprocket on this end, and then a small sprocket on that end, and then from there I go to another big sprocket for the final drive. So you can see I can step the gear reduction down. So I'll make a complete video about this gearbox yet, and I'll tell you guys a little bit more about it. But anyways, just figured I'd walk you guys through the different options of stuff that I've been considering. And I always like it when you guys come check out my stuff, so we'll talk to you guys again.